And now timeout taken again.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the final timeout. Back with John here today. Say what's up.
What's up, guys? How we doing? Be sure to check out our last two episodes. If you missed them, this is number 3. Let's run it.
And make sure to follow the Twitters, both mine and John's, and the podcast Twitter. We'll drop it on the video right now. Starting off the podcast with some sad news. Obviously, a former NFL legend, Vincent Jackson, wide receiver for both the Chargers and the Bucs in his days, was found dead on Monday morning in a hotel room in Tampa. So obviously a horrible loss for the NFL community. I know a lot of people loved him. He was a great guy on and off the field, and as well as a great player. So John, if you want to say anything.
Yeah, no, it's too bad. I've definitely seen him play before. Back, when he did play, I just didn't really know who he was because I'm not like an A1, NFL fan. But after looking up and reading about this guy, he was a spectacular guy, spectacular representative of the league, exactly what you want in a player. I mean, obviously a very solid player on the field, 4th in Tampa Bay's franchise history in receiving yards. But he also won Man of the Year 4 straight years, NFL Man of the Year, and started a foundation as well for involving the military. So really just a terrible loss for the community and the NFL, and hopefully the investigation that they open following this death, because we really don't know anything besides the fact that he was found dead in a hotel. Hopefully that resolves some of these questions, and it's a big loss. So rest in peace.
Yeah, we'll update you when we find out a little more, but right now we're in the dark. And then we'll move on to the main topic of today's video. Former Auburn head coach Gus Malzahn was hired at UCF for a 5-year deal, just over $11 million. So John's the big college football guy. He's gonna give us his input on this hiring and what it means for UCF's future and for Gus's future.
This is awesome, Tim. This is exactly like you're playing an NCAA 14 dynasty. You just say, the hell with this. I'm leaving Alabama. We've won 10 straight national championships. I want to go play at a different school. And UCF's kind of cool like that. Now, Gus never won a national championship. He went to one. And, obviously Auburn won in 2010. But he wasn't the coach. But this is a very good hire, Tim. I would go as far to say this is an upgrade over what UCF had over Josh Heupel. Scott Frost left and went to Nebraska some years ago. Heupel stepped in for him. And they were good to start. They actually beat Auburn and beat Malzahn in that 2017 season, the best the Tigers have had under Malzahn. They went to the Peach Bowl and lost to UCF. And then the year after that, they went and played LSU in what I think was what bowl was that? It was a New Year's Six bowl, I think. I forget which one, but they played LSU in a bowl game. They lost that, and then they went 6-4 this past year. So the standard obviously wasn't set. Heupel, of course, now at Tennessee, which is interesting because the AD's there as well. We'll see how that works. But I love this hire. I think UCF is trying to build a brand for themselves, and I think this just put them at another level. And what's great too is the first thing that Malzahn and the new AD at UCF did was sit down and say, look, if we want to make it to the college football playoff and the current standing, the 4-team standing, we need to play the big boys. First thing they did, they gave Florida a call. Hey, let's play. So let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, with these smaller programs, obviously UCF, nothing historic in the college football history. But when you sign a big name like Gus Malzahn and he comes in and he helps you win games right away, that'll pick up the recruiting a little bit. And that'll help that program continue to build off what Frost did in 2017, where they went undefeated, won the national championship, as we know.
They could win a legitimate one.
Yeah, they could.
It's in a recruiting hotbed. He's an offensive guy. He's going to have Dylan Gabriel, assuming he doesn't transfer or go to the draft rank. He's going to have Dylan Gabriel, the best quarterback in the American, year one. I mean, Gus is just set up for success, and he also said he is going to be taking the play calling responsibilities. He's never going to relinquish that right. He actually just hired a new DC today as well, Tim, a former co-defensive coordinator of his, Travis Williams, former player at Auburn, who is the Miami linebackers coach most recently. So keeping it in the family, interesting decision. That's going to be the big thing for them is can they find a way to play like Oklahoma? Can they find a way to play defense? They have a good offense every year. They got to figure out how to play defense. And don't look now, folks, but the AAC, the American Athletic Conference, could be starting to become a power conference. Could be a power 6 we're talking about instead of a power 5 here in a couple of years.
Now let's touch on Auburn a little bit. What do you think they're going to do with their future? Obviously, SEC, you've got Alabama, you've got Georgia. You want to compete with those guys, but obviously in the past couple of years they haven't really done so. So,
I thought Malzahn was the guy for the job. I understand why you walk away from him, but here's the thing, Tim. Gus Malzahn's sitting on a beach right now in Florida. He's still getting paid millions and millions of dollars for the fat contract extension he got in 2017 because Auburn thought he was the guy. I don't think it was the right decision to move on from him this year. Obviously a strange year, COVID and everything. I think they should have given him 1 or 2 more years because they were going to pay him anyway. I'm not really sure why you make that decision now. Now, of course, they have Brian Harsin, who was the former Boise State head coach in there. So we'll see how that goes. The recruiting's picking up pretty well. A lot of people had questions. How would he be able to recruit down there and things like that? He made some good assistant coach hires. But we'll see. And the thing about Auburn is you're judged on how you play against the big boys. It's Alabama. It's LSU. It's really Florida as well. It's really the entire SEC. So I think Gus is really making out with this deal because he's still getting paid. And now instead of having to play Alabama and getting judged on how his team is against Alabama, it's SMU or it's Cincinnati. Way more doable. We are going to get into schedule previews today. We're going to do the ACC, but I think we need to let this Malzahn news settle, and I think the Jackson news we need to let settle as well. Vincent Jackson. So yeah, we're gonna get into schedule preview starting next episode, and we're gonna try and keep it brief, not go on for hours and hours because I definitely know I could. But we're definitely gonna be doing the American Conference as well, especially after this Malzahn news. I would put UCF against really any team in the country right now, aside from some SEC schools. But I read something too today, Tim, that was kind of dumb because the former AD at UCF, who's now at Tennessee, people criticize him for the way he scheduled non-conference games, saying, he didn't want to go against the good teams. Like maybe Florida, I guess you can make that example for. But UCF has played some marquee non-conference games in the last couple of years. I'm thinking about Pitt. I'm thinking about Stanford. I mean, these guys have wanted to play, and at a certain point, there's only so much you could do as a non-Power 5 team in making the playoff.
Last episode, we kind of touched on J.J. Watt. The first news kind of came out that he was looking at the Browns a little bit. Kind of want to get your opinions on that fit right there. I know they got Myles Garrett on one side. Pair him with J.J. Watt. They could win that division next year. So
yeah, I've heard the Browns, but I also saw something today on Twitter where he was at a Jets training facility or something like that. So that got some head spinning. Now, I don't think there's any way in hell J.J. Watt's going to play for New York because he just left a rebuild. He said he doesn't want to go to a rebuilding program. He wants to win. I'm sorry for all the New York Jets fans out there and around here especially. New York's not winning the Super Bowl in the next 3-4 years. It's just not happening. So he's not going to play for the Jets. I think Cleveland's a perfect fit. They're one of those teams, I guess we just forgot to mention them last week. They're one of those teams that might be a piece or two away from a Super Bowl ring, really, or just an appearance at least. So I think J.J. Watt could be in a position to go there. I'm not sure about how their cap space looks, but I think Garrett and Watt would be just an insane duo on the D-line.
Yeah, they're a little sleeper pick next year to win that division. Maybe even, you saw them almost beat the Chiefs, but obviously that was without Mahomes, so it didn't look as impressive, but still ended up losing. But I think that'll end today's episode. We look forward to coming back with more news. We'll be back with some college football schedule breakdowns. Those will probably be a little longer episodes, I guess. Kind of getting to break down all that, and then obviously we'll be on top of any breaking news that comes out of both aspects of the podcast. So
yeah, we're gonna try and keep them general because Tim, if there's anything we know about last year, these conferences, these teams released 4 and 5 schedules. So I think we're going to keep it a little broad. Kind of, we'll deep dive in the summer and as we get closer to the fall and to kickoff and stuff because of that. And then in the interest of not, overloading. So we'll take a broad look at it, some of the best non-conference games, some conference dates on your calendar to mark right now. We'll do some things like that.
Thank you guys for watching. This was episode 3. We will see you guys later this week. Thank you.